Hello, viewers. I'm SB.
And I'm Amabel.
Hey, look at that. I did it. I managed to
And
remember.
I'm Amabel.
Okay. And welcome back to Amabel Goes to Forex School, where Amabel has a question, a burning question of incredible importance.
Right, what was it?
Shit.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay.
I'm sorry. It has been days since we recorded last. So,
What the fuck?
what?
Somebody just wounded one of our governors while you were waiting to...
Okay.
What the hell? Why?
It's like spy stuff.
Yeah, it is spy stuff. I mean, I'm just going to heal him and put him back to work. It's a ridiculous thing to do.
Okay, so people can pursue different victory conditions,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
For example,
Can more than one victory condition be satisfied simultaneously by different players? Is there a priority given
in
to?
theory,
Okay, I mean this is legitimately my question. Is like, when is victory checked simultaneously? Is it common in Forex games to have multiple people achieve victory simultaneously? Is there tiebreakers? Like, as a general rule, how does Forex design approach this question?
well, I mean, victory is checked when it happens.
Okay.
You know.
So, like in a turn-based game, the turn order is going to matter tremendously, and in this game, the speed of people taking the turns is going to matter.
Well, maybe.
Okay, I mean that was my whole question.
Okay.
Because it's kind of anticlimactic now.
Yeah, I mean, you win when you did the victory.
Okay.
You win when you have completed the victory condition. So I mean, to say turn order matters tremendously is not really the case. I don't know. It's just like in a game that's 300 turns long, where everybody's doing different things, the odds that two people are going to would have hit victory within 10 turns of each other are pretty low. Much less like anywhere where any kind of timing condition could possibly matter.
Well, that makes sense as a question of like the scale of the time scale of the
right.
game.
Like that's
Okay,
just
yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
that's not really a concern that these kinds of games generally have. So anyway, I have not been paying the most attention to the fine details of this war. Obviously, pink is taking a lot of purple territory here. That is a thing that is happening. But I do know for sure that that this whole continent was pink before. Utanla and Oenga were definitely both pink. So, green is making some kind of inroads here. Yeah, this is definitely not originally a Kapaku city. No Kapaku would build like that. Also, there's a loose Urkin over here. Hopefully, green can get a hold of it. So pink is taking space. They're losing space. They are pretty far advanced on the expansion victory. They are currently at 60% of the 28 or maybe 29 regions necessary to achieve the victory condition. You may have noticed that the victory notification we got last time said they were at X of 29, I believe 17 of 29. Mm-hmm. The problem here is a rounding issue, and Endless Legend has a few rounding issues where in some places the number displays simply truncate decimals, and in other places they actually round. So you need a certain percentage of the regions on the map. That percentage doesn't break to a whole number on this particular map, right? It's 28 point something, which means that you do need 29 because you need to have, the amount or more. But here it's showing 28 because it's just truncating the decimal right off. So that's why those two things don't seem to agree.
Okay.
In addition, pink just hit third victory technology researched. But you can see green is at 2, and we have no idea how many turns they are from finishing their third one. They're clearly working on it. So I think a lot of the game still comes down to the sort of the precise nature of the war between green and pink. We'll see. We'll see how all that works out. Red has, for the moment, reclaimed both of their cities. And they are offering us something. They'll give us glass steel for a technology. I will keep doing this. We have no source of glass steel. And Red is content to keep trading us glass steel for techs and stuff. And Red is no threat to anybody. So I think I'm okay to just keep giving them whatever they want. Okay, all of our pillars have come to an end. It is time to repillar, and I think we're going to change up the behavior just a little bit here. We're still going to put down a bunch of science pillars, but I'm also going to put down some of these big food pillars near Ideli. We're pumping the population of Ideli as hard as we can. I'm not allowed to put the pillars in the water, right? No, I am not. Okay.
Important to have
maybe
a
just
lot of food and
maybe just
Ideli.
2 point. Yeah, a lot of particularly cold cuts, things like that. So the science, our research rate still matters a lot, but we're trying to prep that city to perform a task of industry, the likes of which the world has never seen. So each pillar more expensive than the one before. It would be 600 to put down another pillar. You know what? We can sell a little bit of Hyperium. We sure have a bunch of Hyperium. Let me just push to get a couple more down here. So those. Trying to think here with the way these cities are shaped. I mean, it probably makes the most sense to just put the next two down here and then leave it there for the moment. Yeah, okay, so lots of science output here. We are, once again, hoping for a whole lot of titanium to build our next science buildings. So Grotham's got that big food building going. Ideli finished the big food building already, I believe. Yeah, okay. All right, so we want to start getting our important industry boosting stuff up here. +3 industry on every tile that has industry on it. Obviously pretty good. Is anything else here like critically important? I guess not at the moment. Just keep working on that. These guys are coming home to sit in the garrison. Provide that extra XP. That is a 19-unit pink army. Headed for Janeldas. Good luck. Good luck to you, purple. I was going to get in the water over there. Now I'm going to get in the water over here. Yeah, that's pretty scary. That's an awful lot of violence headed their way. I don't really know what they can do about that. I guess a thing we could do to maybe lend a little bit of a helping hand here is perhaps we will want to build more bathyspheres for this. We could run a little bit of like blockade work. We don't know exactly what Pink's navy looks like, but we could snipe transport ships. Now that we have like an okay submarine design, we could just try to keep their army down. Let Green's army through, don't let Pink's army pass, and hopefully just get through the in that way slow down their spread enough. Because we probably don't need to change things a huge amount. Right? We just need to give Green the edge. And like I said, it seems like they're already winning some victories against Pink, although it may be that they're winning victories because Pink is not, in position to pay close attention right now, because all their stuff is in different different places. Presumably they have a navy. We have no idea really what the state of people's ships are because any meaningful naval combat is happening like really far away from us. Are the seas still pretty much green? Pink has claimed a bunch of stuff. For some reason, red owns a fortress over here. There's another victory notification.
Red, what are you doing?
Okay, the Kapaku are getting some dust. Red is taking advantage of the same kind of thing that we're taking advantage of, which is that people are not paying attention.
You know what would be the funniest thing?
Is if we had traded enough technologies to red for them to win somehow.
For to get a victory notification that like red's close to some kind of victory.
I have been thinking about it. Every time I say like, you know, our hope is that people don't have time to think about us, it does put me in mind of what's going on with red right now. Well, a lot of them are still in the ocean, actually. Well, hopefully they don't have the time to attack us. Hopefully they're using their action points on other things. Quickly flee. I mean, it's not going to matter. If they want to chase us down, there's no escaping it. Like I said, the action point is a scarce resource. Not a lot of ways to replenish an action point, so hopefully they just don't think it's worth it to attack us. I'm a little worried about the fact that, like, Janeldas has a huge amount of fortification, but it does only have 2 units in its garrison. And we know Purple has stuff running around on land up there, but I don't know. Doesn't seem safe enough to me. Okay, notifications all over the place. +3 food on sea and lake tiles. Due to rich loads of nutrients uncovered by erosion, water tiles are producing more food for 9 turns. What?
No.
Nothing funny has happened, and you are laughing nonstop. So what's going on?
Rich loads of nutrients.
Jesus.
You know what I'm like.
I know what you're
like. You knew that when you accepted me into your home and onto your channel.
To be clear, I love you very much. The Necrophages are currently performing the victory quest because they're not winning the game in enough ways. The Kapaku are accumulating diplomatic points. I suppose that's probably true. Hey, how am I doing on diplomatic points? Hold on a second. We didn't talk about the diplomatic victory at all because I didn't think it was going to be relevant. It's probably not. No, they're at 63%. There's no way. There's enough time. But since it's here, let's just talk about it real fast.
Yeah.
Okay. Diplomacy points. You win the game if you get to 2,500 diplomatic points. The way diplomatic points work is your relationship with each other player generates some amount of diplomatic points each turn. For every player you are at Cold War with, you get 1 diplomatic point per turn. For every player you're at peace with, you get 2. For every player you are at allied with, you get 4. So we're actually generating a pretty decent number because we've been at peace with most players for a long time.
Yeah.
In addition, every time you make a deal with somebody, every time you get somebody to agree to a deal, that is, you make one of these deals where the bar, where the bar is involved, you get it to a place where they're happy with it and they agree with it, you get a number of diplomatic points based on the influence that it cost you to offer the deal. I think it's like a 5th. It's 1 diplomatic point for every 5.
This also happens when you make a counter offer? Or do you have to
well, probably, yeah, I assume everybody gets diplomatic points based on the amount of influence they spent into the deal.
Okay.
So that means that they've been making a lot of deals with people in addition to maintaining good relations with most folks, which is interesting. At 63%, I don't imagine there's any way they could possibly cover the rest of the ground before somebody would win a science victory. Like, they'll win a science victory before they'll win a diplomatic victory. But it is interesting that they're close on that.
It does seem like that's a difficult thing to pull off because you first of all have to meet other players, which can take a little while, depending on.
It's certainly easier if you're meeting people early on. Let's see if our subs are up to the task of fighting these random submarines that we met in the ocean. They have more health than we do, which I don't care for. My weaponry is superior. Yeah, they're having a small problem here where they have lower base damage than we have. Oh no, their stun went off. That's okay. We got them. I don't know why there were subs hanging out there, but we've dealt with them now. So yeah, we definitely want to make sure that we get these guys into onto landmass, because for some reason there are some pink fire ships over here. Pink eager to show us that he does in fact have an army. And you know, this whole time our faction quest is taken away. I'm keeping it visible up here. 5 more turns until we get the next step of that.
And is the next step the final one, or?
We'll see, won't we?
Oh, okay. We would like it to be.
Winter. Winter is not, I think, a big deal for us. It's probably going to slow down the war. You know, because troops move slower, the vision is less, etc. And that's not... I mean, that increases the likelihood that the game is going to be decided by, you know, one of the science victories or something, which I think was already pretty likely. Yep, they're generating notifications all over the place because they're just doing very well. This winter has added a cost change to resources in the market. I mean, well, okay, so just try not to buy luxuries during the winter. Fair enough. All right, lots of purple boats have come to chase away the pink boats. Damn, these are level 10 fire ships. That's very impressive. Okay, so Empire Plan's coming up pretty soon. We have so many leveled up districts now. We're really pumping out the influence. I would like to get to, you know, maximum industry output here, obviously. We are going to probably want to keep the bonus approval, also obviously. Yeah. We don't necessarily need to keep this stuff, so like we're actually good. We're totally fine. If we wanted to maybe pick up building buyout reduction so that we could like rush buildings more effectively while we're focusing all of our industry going into the big building, we would need to hit 2,600, which we absolutely will, gaining over 100 influence per turn. Okay. So yeah, I'm not stressed about it. I think we're in a good spot. We don't need to like dynamically reassign people to generate more influence or anything. A thing I should do real quick is pop this army out, grab the large stack of pearls that occurred over here. It's not even that large, really. Okay, back in the garrison with you. Good job, though. You are, I think, safe to go for these ruins. This whole ocean's been kind of fogged over. I'm sure the pink army is either dead or on land by now. A thin tablet of some light metal is found amidst floating wreckage. Though it appears to be randomly scarred and scratched by age, it could be that those marks indicate undersea terrain, wind patterns, and locations of fortresses. Is this merely sea flotsam, or, as one wizened sailor claims, a secret map? So if we search these ruins again with a level 4, I don't remember what the outcome of this quest is. I don't think it's worth putting forth the effort to solve it. We're going to keep our heroes where they are. All right. You may as well go get some pearls here and then get back in the city. Honestly, the odds that we're going to be able to affect the war with our subs are pretty low, but I can't think of any other way we could even possibly have an effect on it. So I'm gonna stick to the plan here. We're gonna try. So we're definitely going to want to put up the production line after this. More industry from people working on industry. We are able to build out another borough, and we're definitely going to do so. Again, just more industry everywhere. Keep in mind that the leveled up docks have a pretty good amount of industry coming out of them. Because we have cargo docks, we get 5 industry from every water tile that we're working, so it'll be worth it for us to sort of expand out to the coast here and just grab 3 water tiles at once. That city is going to continue to grow, hopefully even once we pull people off of food, because just more land, perhaps unsurprisingly, more land remains one of the best ways to continue getting more resources. So I'm going to try to just sit on our dust here until winter ends, and then we'll see about buying up new supplies of luxuries and stuff. But with the extra modifier, I don't think we want to be doing any shopping right now. And so we wait. This is a thing that happens in the late game, and it's like the very late game sometimes. Once sort of like your paths are locked in, there are no more like big strategic decisions to make. You get a lot of these turns where it's kind of just like waiting for bars to fill, waiting for numbers to accumulate.
Yeah.
All right, so with Strikes Far, we are headed for Inspirational Leader. This is the only technology he has that will directly increase industry output.
Okay. You know, this is something that's interesting because, the incremental nature of these games is something we've talked about before in this series. And until, I started fiddling around with Endless Legend with myself steering a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't I felt that incremental thing would be kind of a downside, and it's just, I don't know, it's just engaging enough.
Yeah.
And it happens quickly enough that it doesn't feel like a wasted turn. I think that's interesting. I think this late game also of this one is a lot more interesting than the late game we had in Civ or the late game we had in I was about to say the 2 previous Endless Legend things, but the first one didn't really have a late game.
So Pink has pushed back. Green's progress over here has done a ton of damage to Purple in this area. Green has managed to take over Tolilian, so they're pushing on the top of this continent, but Pink is also encroaching from this side of Purple's continent, and I'm thinking that the expansion victory is absolutely actually in play. Also note, they are at 4 victory techs now.
Out of 6?
5.
5. Okay, yeah, no, that's...
So they could win the game at any moment. Any turn could be the turn where they finish the thing. Yeah, us having a step of our faction quest where we have to sit on our hands for 10 turns after the step where we had to push up to Era 5 really broke any hope of our quest
of a solo victory.
It's just too slow. There are some factions that have a number of these like wait 10 turns steps.
Yeah.
And they always are such a huge bummer. So all we can really do is wait for this to complete while we continue to try to push Ideli into being the world's greatest production center. But the fact is, it's just not going to matter. Doubles the effect of luxury boosters on this city. Yep, we're going to need that. Canal systems, +1 terrain on industry. Yep. +1 on terrain with forest. Put that in there. Okay, all this stuff's got to get done. The production line is actually not the most important thing, given that we're keeping people on food until... Let me pull the construction queue up here and move this to the end. Nope. Come on, you. The engine's getting a little laggy right now because there's so much stuff happening.
Okay.
So let's push for that to get done first. Yeah, I think that makes more sense. So we're going to pick up some Firestarter. This is the largest amount of science that she can grant us, but her science output is not super relevant. Green is under active attack here. You can see the siege occurring. His units do not seem to be running toward the conflict. Where's the sieging army? It must be like... Huh. I actually don't even see them. Well, whatever. It's happening, and we're just riding through. We're headed home. Why would I declare war on purple? How would it help for me to be at war with purple? Friend, you're losing it.
Kopaku only do that when they're very upset.
Well, these guys are definitely in like very serious distress. There's no two ways about that.
Distress, that's what. Oh, see, you're funnier than I am. You remember the punchlines.
You say the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like you express the general idea.
I haven't gone with the idea of a joke. Sometimes I come up with punchlines without a setup. More often setups without a punchline, and then you figure out how to make it work. You complete me.
That's very sweet of you to say. Whew. Okay. Well, 2 more turns. So we're working on advanced quarry here. This is the last major industry technology. This gives plus 50 industry on terrain that has a strategic resource growing out of it. It's not even actually useful for, all circumstances, but Ideli is actually built over top of an adamantian deposit. So we will get some benefit from that. And then after that, it is just like victory tech, like double industry output of cities. This will not get done in time. All right. Cities continue to produce.
So I have a question about the volcano people.
Yes, the Kopaku.
Yeah, how do they not have to eat?
No, they do. They get food from volcanic tiles. They can't get food from non-volcanic tiles.
Oh, that's rough.
But they have access to a thing that they can build. It costs strategic resources, but it's called a volcano former, and it modifies tiles. We found a shitty technology in that ruin. Oh no. A technology that we don't want is the worst thing that can happen right now. So here you can see the dust light, this is called. This is part of the victory quest. And you can see there are these quest armies of bizarre units spawning all over the place. Pink is certainly working that victory quest. They're also landing insanely huge invasion forces on our allies' borders, and Okay, they attacked there and the city didn't turn pink. In fact, they seem to be leaving.
So that victory quest thing that's in our area.
The victory quest stuff, yeah, it occurs all over the world. You have to run your units all over the place for it.
Okay.
It is more feasible for some people than for others.
Now, you would not want to close your borders to them to make it harder for them to get in, because that would.
You know, closed borders cost some influence. You're right. These should be closed. I am going to do that.
I contributed.
We're fine on influence for the Empire plan we wanted, even with that. So, yeah, no, you're totally right. That absolutely should be done. That could cause some annoyance, and they may respond to that annoyance by simply declaring war on us. And then, traveling over the border however they damn well please.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should inconvenience them in any way that we can. Okay, never mind. They won. We knew it was coming. I'm a little bummed out that we didn't get to see what the next step of the faction quest was, or rather, we're going to hit continue playing in a second, and we're going to see. But yeah, the science output of the Necrophage Empire as they started to steal other people's cities, it just got too... Jesus, that got pretty real. The Green, who was absolutely embarrassing us on science output, was only producing 10k at the end, and the Necrophages were approaching 50. They got a really big base of land going, and when you have that much land, you can do stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right, so are we allowed to... No, I guess going to the score screen means you can't hit continue playing. Okay, well, that's fine. We don't actually need to see. I was just curious. But yeah, I can never remember if the faction quests have 7 chunks or 8. And then each chunk, potentially has a couple of steps to it. So we were finishing part 7. There may have been an 8th part. I don't remember. But in any case, we were not close. Even if we had finished that and we gotten the design for the Temple of the Earth's Core and we'd started the victory quest, it really is it's a lot of industry to build the temple.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a drubbing. We took it on the chin there, but we managed to stay in it.
Yeah.
It's very sad. It's a very sad thing to be excited about. Yeah, so that's what the Endless Legend community patch really does improve the AI. It really does make them like an actual real threat, and not just in a they start with 10,000 units and could kill you on turn 5 kind of way. In a they can actually play and win the game like a person. So if I have made any recommendations at all that stick with you during this series, the number 1 would be play this game with the community patch. It's the best way to do it. So we had decided that we were going to do one more Endless Legend before we move on. Just to show you a faction that's even more different than the ones that we've seen, because we've seen sort of a variety here. We haven't seen my favorite one, but I wanted to get you sort of the breadth of the experience, or at least a bit of the breadth, a representative chunk of the breadth of the experience. So what did you think about the Ardent Mages as a faction and how they differed from the others we'd played with? And
yeah, no, I think the pillars were the kind of core gimmick there, and then the magic, I guess, to a degree.
We didn't actually cast the spell the entire thing because combat just wasn't very important to us that game.
But the vibe is very
yeah,
just stay on the screen a little bit. Whereas the Morgwar were very watery.
They certainly were
very sea focused, and the mind control stuff is like these are really distinct factions. Like the one that seemed like the most of the ones we've seen that seemed like the most like vanilla
Hmm.
is the
Yeah.
wild walkers. And that's actually the one I'm playing in the game that I'm playing, because I didn't want to spoil anything in case you show me, you want to.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
you're. Yeah. Now, which one's your favorite again?
My favorite is the Alayi. I really like
Mhm.
the way they tie into sort of like the lore of the planet very tightly and stuff. The Alayi are the sort of like the ones who are in a sense they are the only ones that are actually native to the planet, although I guess there's an argument to be made about the Mykara. And so like they're very adapted to the flow of the seasons, and they actually they shapeshift. They have a summer form and a winter form with different stats and different
Which
capacities.
one are you looking at right now? Is that the summer form?
This is the summer form, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the winter form replaces all of the white colored bits with black. And so they have this very strong, like, sort of, this very strong, somewhat monochromatic color scheme. And there has to be room for a player color, obviously. But their units are interesting and fun to use. Working around the change of seasons is interesting. They have a really fun faction quest, and they just move real fast. And the exploration part of the 4X is definitely my favorite of the X's. And so factions that have a lot of early mobility always really appeal to me. But I don't think that the Alayi are quite different enough from some of the others that we've played to be the last faction. So we're gonna go pretty really strange here, and
right.
pull the Mykara for our final game of Endless Legend for the moment. First of all,
one of the two single city.
yes, this is one of the two single city factions. Them and the cultists, and they do it in pretty different ways. Yeah, you'll see. We'll get in here. You'll see. So I mean, let's just start it up. I was gonna say maybe we could end the episode and start anew, but let's just start it up now. We got some time left. So ancient dwellers of the subterranean realm with mycelial webs stretching throughout the crust, the Mykara are one of Auriga's oldest species. Legend has it they have broken onto the surface many times through the ages, in an eternal struggle with the great Urkin beasts. So we have, of course, 3 units, same as anybody else. We'll talk about the units when we get in. Okay, so the affinity trait, our major trait as the Mykara, is creeping presence. We have a single city, can't produce settlers, but as you've seen in the last couple of games, the Mykara player can create fungal blooms on resource deposits, watchtower foundations, and stuff all over the world, no matter how far away it is from the city. And thus gain access to those things. You can overgrow ruins and use them as tunnels to other ruins, so your army can get around the world very quickly.
Okay.
Each fungal bloom will consume some amount of food from the main city while it's growing, and then the more fungal blooms you have, like each fungal bloom, I believe, counts as like a fraction of a city for the purposes of your empire plan. So the more built out you are, it still costs more influence to set up your empire plan. They also have this ability to capture other players' cities and overgrow them and sort of like add them to the mycelial web, and you hold on to the city, but it doesn't become like a city that you can manage and build stuff in. It just becomes a big hunk of fungus on the map. So it still gathers the resources from its tiles and sends them to you. And then there is a unique trait for each other faction that you can earn by overgrowing one of that faction's cities in this way. So, a trait that is based on that other faction's strengths in some way. So that's a good motivation to go around the map and do a little violence or whatever. During eclipses, we can buy out our fungal blooms, just get them going real fast. We get fewer resources from extractors, thus encouraging us to, go forth and spread out over more extractors in more areas. Our cities recover fortification extremely quickly because, our fortifications are organic and they just regrow. And we get a bonus to our industry production equal to 15% of the food production in the main city. So, food first, big city, tons of population. You get the idea. I think these guys are really cool. So we're gonna, I think, just roll in here with the same settings as last time. Difficulty impossible, which hopefully it will not turn out to be literal. Was there anything you wanted to...
No, I don't think so.
Okay, lots of randomization in the world, Jen. Let's do it.
I guess if there were factions you really wanted to play against, but I don't think that's kind of how you play. You want to have...
I like it pretty random. I like trying to adapt to the circumstances that I find myself in, And you might say that I don't do so effectively enough in a lot of games, and that's how we lose.
But failure is instructive. Let's learn something.
Yeah, well, the thing I learned there is to kill a necrophage player as soon as you find them.
Do not suffer a necrophage player to live. Yeah.
They can get out of control really easily due to the particular mechanics of their armies. They have a sort of a snowball effect. So if you see them start to do well in militarily, you have to intercede probably like as soon as possible. We just weren't in a position to do so.
I unearthed an ancient organism and named it Mykara. Hardy, energetic, invasive. I encouraged its growth, let it in. It transformed our knowledge, our lives, our understanding of the Urkins. But the mages, our old enemy, gained control of one of them. Together, they slaughtered all but one. Me. That day I gave myself fully to the Mykara. And we became a fearsome power, hungry for vengeance.
Apparently my mouse cursor was at the very edge of the screen there. So yeah, that's our deal. And immediately, we've encountered the Empire of Rayap, because the Draken player is aware of everybody's starting locations. So they immediately meet you upon the beginning of the game. Peace be to Origa. They know where we are, we do not get to know where they are. Alright, so let's have a quick look around here. We got a very strong starting location. Big forest, river running through it. There's a bunch of anomalies clustered pretty close together here. We got a Mycordia that we can start next to, plus 10 approval.
Okay.
Let's start by searching this ruin and finding nothing in it. Okay, cool. I'm sure that's not an omen. So we're going to do what I usually do here and just split our army up, run around and have a... Wow, look at the density of the anomalies in this area too. This is crazy. Okay, there's a Silix village there. Let's send our other Epotane up the river a bit. Looks like we got some dyes. That's cool. And we'll separate our hero off here. Specialized Polyp 9S. Okay, so there's a couple Silix villages. Yeah, overall, I think I like our starting region quite a bit.
Okay.
So let's talk about the actual settle. So there's a bunch of anomalies clustered around the river right here.
Okay.
That's definitely compelling. The only thing giving me pause is that if we were to settle right here, it would take quite a while for us to get access to the ocean. And if we do happen to, if we start on the ocean and we happen to have some fortresses nearby, and we can like divert ourselves into quickly capturing a fortress, that can really, really powerfully swing the early game. So
Okay.
I am definitely thinking about like settling here instead, still adjacent to the Mycordia, still getting the benefit from 2 anomalies, but coastal. This is a little unfortunate because it means the river's kind of blocked off from us by this weird ruin. This ruin being here actually is a huge bummer. But I think it makes sense given the potential upside of having early ocean access.
Okay. And there's one other argument in favor of it.
Yeah.
Because we're a single city faction, we only have one city
That's
name.
what that means.
And so we could call the city Port of Bella, like a mushroom.
Okay, I see. I get it. Well, I think that tears it. That's pretty inarguable. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it there. One thing that I do think is pretty unfortunate here is that we don't have a location where we can put our dock where we can level it up. Because, you need it to be surrounded by 4. You need a coastal sea tile that has 4 adjacent land tiles so that you can build all around it. And that is a shame. But yeah, let's get started. 17 food. We're a little industry light in this location, but we have all of that bonus food and then the assistance of that Mykara trait that converts some amount of your food to industry. So overall, I like this quite a bit. Everybody starts with 2 techs researched for the Mykara. It is cultivation, great news, and topography, which is going to be pretty okay here. I think let's get that seed storage up right away. Ooh. Industry really is quite low. Let's get that seed storage up right away, then the Founders Memorial, and we will be looking to just buy this out as soon as we possibly can. First technology. Language Square and Mill Foundry are both incredibly important. I'm going to grab Language Square first. Hopefully it won't be a mistake to go without the industry for this long. And then we can probably turn off the resource display because I know people do not necessarily love having all that stuff on the screen.
I think you should play with resource display on and it's fully zoomed out the entire time.
Well, that's what I do. I play with the resource display on when I'm just playing for myself. I play with the resource display on at about this zoom level almost all the time. And then when I need to do fine detail work, I zoom in and look at all the resources. But that is certainly not the prettiest way to play. They put a lot of work into these things. So let's talk about our units real quick here before we get into anything. The default unit here is the Epotane. Epotane's a cool unit. It is a ranged unit, relatively tough ranged unit. Actually, it's not as squishy as say like a what do you call it? The Rangers, the Wild Walker Rangers, but it's not. It's not super strong either. You still got to keep people off of them. We have a little bit of bonus regen. All of our Mykara units have this bonus health regen for each fungal bloom in the world. So the more we fungus the world out, the quicker our units recover from damage. And just like basic range. They're fine. They're totally fine. Our hero, Specialized Polyp 9S, you can see here, depicted in sort of a fencing stance, is quite a good combat unit with that same fungal bloom regen. He has Army Boost 2, so 10% attack, 10% defense, 6 initiative, and 4 damage. No governing capacities. to speak of, so not really the greatest governor in the world, but a thing to be aware of is that the Mykara heroes have access to this Waste Not, Want Not skill, which, when you have both levels of it, completely removes all of the consumption from the city. And there is certainly an argument to be made for like giving him a couple of points, earning a couple of skill points, getting this picked up, and then plonking him in the city for a while just to aid in growth.
Yeah.
In my opinion, given the very high population you're going to want to reach in the main city, you're definitely going to want to have a cultist running things in the long run. But you can certainly use this Mykara hero to bolster growth in the early game. Okay, let's roll it on forward here. Notice 15 to 35 turns until the first winter, so that's certainly going to help make this, let us make the most of our seed storage. And let's just have a look around. Okay, more dye deposits. Oops, sorry, I need to open this. The ozonic stench of the mage's lightning attacks fills my nostrils, mingles with the smell of burning flesh. I stumble down a narrow passage, the dim phosphorescent light from the mycelial veins causing my shadow to flicker across this craggy stone. The rock shakes. I hear the deep-throated roar of the Urkin, and my skin crawls with terror. I'm gripping a weapon, a mighty axe, but it feels like dead weight in my hands. Am I rallying my men or running from the enemy? The passage opens into another tableau of slaughter, my kinsmen dying or dead on the cold stone, their blood sprayed in crimson arcs or pooled in dark puddles. I stop dead. You cannot linger. You are Toth Agnes. You are the first of the bloodline. Others need you. Empty words. This is a slaughter. I know there are no others. I've brought death upon these people who followed me away from the home vaults. Memory and reality are hard to distinguish. I slumber, drifting between the past and present. The battle is over, of that I'm certain. I survived, somehow. In the here and now, I feel renewal, regrowth, and a desire to reach into new places. I am confused. I slip back into my recollections, the familiarity outweighing the distress. Something grips my ankle, and my body tenses, fingers gripping the shaft of the axe. It's only a dying kinsman, though. To my shame, I don't know his name. A handful of words spill from his lips, whispered and ragged. Avenge us. Tears come to my eyes, but my sadness swiftly turns to fury. I will, I reply, clutching his forearm. I promise. Everything is hazy in the aftermath of the mage's massacre, but I survived. Now I must recover my strength. I must prepare for vengeance. So we got to learn how to get some of those strategic resources so that we can murder all the people who tried to murder us.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Very, very important question.
Yes.
Can we change the name of the city to Portobello?
Oh, yes. Sorry. I actually did intend to do that. We're calling it Port of...
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's a character limit.
Okay. Well,
We are going to have to probably just do this.
okay.
I didn't realize how restrictive the character limit was. Sorry.
That made me so happy.
Okay, so it looks like our home region may have a little bit more space up here. So there is, in fact, a spot where we could put down docks and they could level up, but I don't know that we're going to expand all the way up there before it's time to build some cargo docks. I guess we'll see. So yeah, note we're sitting at default level happiness, so we've got that little bonus going all the time, which is really nice. It is so powerful to settle your first city on an anomaly that gives 10 approval, if you can. It really makes a huge difference. So we can see the sparkles of a ruin down here. I am inclined to head that way with the hero. Aha, we have the cult. Interesting. Okay, so I wonder what will become of this territory. That's very interesting. We're going to be a little bit careful because their units, their starting hero is a pretty strong combat unit as well, and could absolutely harass us effectively.
Oh, so when you start with a faction, you'll know what your starting hero is for that faction.
Yes, it's always the same. Yeah. All right, so next turn we get our first attack, and I think I'm probably going to do a hero port. Let's check out this ruin. Oh, okay, like Zoltan. We will do our best, Mr. Zoltan. Do I want to run you? I can't quite grab this. Obviously, I want to do my parlaying with the hero because parlaying is worth XP. But maybe... I'm also thinking, like, there's a ruin down here that would be nice to search. Another 40 dust is okay. Let's turn around. Try not to lose units to the cultists unnecessarily. So we definitely have enough dust for the buyout here, and we are absolutely taking it just the very second we can. Yeah, do I want to keep exploring down here? Maybe we just do the parlay, especially since we know the cultists moved their hero away from us and they're not chasing. Yeah, let's just do this with the unit. They would like for us to produce 5 of everything in our city for 5 turns. Okay, well, that's a little awkward because obviously producing 5 influence is that can be a challenge early on, but we'll see. We have no idea at this point what the ocean regions off of our coast actually look like. These might be like real oceans with functional fortresses and everything, so that's something to keep in mind. I think I'm going to try to make for... Yeah, maybe like this side of this village. We should talk to these Silics and see if we can get a reasonable quest from them as well. So, this button right here is the button that allows us to start fungal blooming. When we fungal bloom over a Mykaran ruin, it gives us 2 points of vision, 2 spaces of vision from that bloom, and also gives us the output of that tile for our main city. So the whatever resources are produced specifically on that tile, not the surrounding stuff, I believe, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And then it functions as a gateway that connects to every other ruin that we have overgrown. So it's kind of rad in one sense to have one really close to the home city. It's a little awkward, obviously, in the sense that this is like right in the middle of where we want to build, but we'll make it work. We'll figure it out. For right now, yeah, these tiles are low enough yield. I don't feel the need to start overgrowing them or anything. Let's just keep exploring. Alright, what do y'all want? Kidnap brothers in a region called Dells. Do we see... In fact, this is the village with the light over it. So, I don't know that 9S can handle what I believe will be 2 Kozanji spawns by himself. That feels like maybe a little much. But we can start running our other units down there to team up. Not that we necessarily get a huge amount out of pacifying the units in this region. Oh, except I should check what our legendary quests are. Indeed, be the first to pacify 8 villages in order to gain this reward. Okay, maybe it would be nice to get 3 pacifications really early. Gosh, our other units are quite far away, though. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we would just get wrecked if I tried to do this with just him. 61 attack, 46 defense. He's got Infantry Slayer 2, which does not come into play because they are technically flying units. He does have free counter, which is pretty rad. Mykara heroes are definitely good melee units. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get some friendlies over here before I go provoking this. So let's let blue take the movements that blue's gonna take before I run further south here and potentially put myself in a dangerous position. Alright, I still need to try to find some more ruins. Okay, that's a wine deposit right there. Alright, here's something to search. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not finding a lot of dust from these early ruins, and as such, we are not able to rush out a lot of these buildings. Although at this point, I probably wouldn't rush the mill foundry, or I wouldn't rush the Founders Memorial anyway, because we want to rush that mill foundry very badly. It will help us to group up, because obviously we'll be paying upkeep for fewer armies that way. Nothing. Another empty ruin. That is some luck. Well, they can't all be winners, but I'm definitely annoyed. So we almost get the Founders Memorial done. We want to push through this mill foundry real fast, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go back to food focus, probably. Being able to actually complete buildings is a pretty important part of the video game, though. Alright, let's spawn some monsters. I'm not going to wait for all of our units to catch up. These guys are coming to proselytize. So the base unit of the cultists is a 20 attack, 18 damage guy who has 30 defense and 30 health. It's probably the worst unit in the game.
Okay.
Their hero is a good, strong early game fighter, but their hero is their entire army at this point. So we do have some ability to harass them. This is gonna be a little messy. So they only have 37 attack. I have free counter. Yeah, I mean, there's not really like a strategy to apply here. I think just run at them and murder. Oof, boy, that's going away already. Okay, well this is worrying.
That'd be a very short very short campaign.
The -1 really hurts. The fact that we just whiffed a whole attack roll there. Okay, there we go. He finally did some real damage after it was too late in the battle for it to matter anymore. All right, so out of curiosity, The cost to restore our hero at this point would be 65 dust. It's not great. All right, let's put this in the queue. We get another birth this turn. We're going to push forward a little bit here, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point, this will take us to 90. The sewer system would take us all the way up to fervent,
Mm-hmm.
which will give us an even greater bonus. Oh my god, you fucking asshole. Well, he converted the village, broke our quest, and probably completely took us out of the running for that legendary deed in doing so. Because, obviously this is a one village region. Dells, we only see one village. Yeah, so we couldn't have stopped it. Even if we had attacked him last turn with the Ipotane, he would have just retreated and then had enough health to still do this thing on this turn. So... yeah, no, that's pretty bad. That's pretty hugely bad. I'm really curious about purple. Let's maybe just go and say hi. So as our hero heals, the restore cost is going to come down naturally. And we will want to reinstantiate him quickly. How many science tiles do we have around us? Just a couple. This is not like super strong. Let's see here. With our first burrow, we could reach out and grab the giant tree. That would certainly help. I'm just trying to figure out like what our build order is here. Like, do we want to pull people back from... Do we want to pull people back from the production focus a little bit, let the mill foundry take 2 turns, and start the sewer system next? Yeah, maybe. Although actually it looks like we've done so much building here that it won't matter very much. Can we speed up the science? Yeah, there we go. Okay, that'll make things mesh a little bit better. So I'd love to get that sewer system built. All right, can we see any of Purple's stuff? Nope. I was hoping we might get an early meeting. All right, our hero lives. Wow, that's a lot of preachers there, buddy. I'm debating dropping the hero on top of this army and then just attacking their preachers. You know what? Just so you're aware, this is not your area. You don't get to be here. So now we have to make this decision. Do we want to just push up hero stuff, make him a better fighter, or do we want to do that like bonus food, waste not, want not thing for our early growth? We have no idea when we'll be able to hire a hero to govern, but I'm gonna try to I'm a little nervous about his combat stats given what just happened, so I'm gonna maybe focus on pushing those up a little.
Okay.
So we get the sewer system in 4 turns or 2 turns if we really dig in on it, or we could take it in 3 turns by just food focusing. I don't hate that. All right, let's just get some more of our like basic resource buildings. We do need to... Let's get the science building, then the alchemist furnace. Because we do need to get our time per research down a little bit. to attack his army again before he has a chance to move. He has moved a Harmonite up into a reinforcing position.
Wow, he has a minor already?
Well, you saw him convert that village.
Right.
Their thing works a little bit differently then.
Okay.
Here, we'll just start in a... Okay, he chose not to actually have it reinforce, so we're just gonna run forward and murk dudes. Such is the might of the preacher. Okay. Zero damage. Humiliating yourself in front of all of these cultists. I mean, they're not going to tell anybody, obviously, but still. Alright, so I don't think I would have done that if I were them. Just left those units that far north. There was a lot of guys to be running up there. I'm actually not 100% sure what their play was. But I think I am just gonna massacre this village now. There's only one single city faction that's gonna be running things around this continent, and it's not the one you picked. Alright, this guy's a little tougher. But here's a little secret about the Harmonite unit, the Silic. It has a base speed of 1.
Okay.
So, with a ranged unit, you can just sort of kite it indefinitely most of the time. I'm going to have you not move. All right, let's have you step 2 here. Just going to stay together for the morale bonus. But we don't have to fight this thing in a fair way at all, and I'm not going to.
No, why would you ever?
They're good units. They're powerful fighters. They can be really scary if you get into a position where you can't get away from them. But
Yeah, I'm sure if there was more than one of them,
yeah,
it'd be a lot trickier right now.
great work, kids. Well done. So we can grow it over, and I'm gonna. Let's go. You know what? I'm not sure whether or not the other villages will give us a quest now. Let's go find out. All right, we're about to push up to. If I move people off of food, yeah, we'll still get this done quick. All right, we're about to move up to being fervent, ecstatic, just absolutely overjoyed with our options here. And as such, plus 30% to all of our non-influence resources, which is rad. Would you guys request with us? Can we parlay? Can we try again? Give them 8 wine. Well, that's not easy to do. So we need to be doing something for a single turn. It's going to be a while before we're... Well, you know what? We're going to be in Husbandry Center mode. Probably a fair amount, actually. Let's work on that real quick. Do we knock the village over? Yeah. Right? Oh, game doesn't think we'll survive this. So notice, because their village only has 1 tile available in its deployment area that's like connected to... they actually can only start with 1 of their units on the table, which is embarrassing. Only 6 turns into combat. They literally can't reach us. we're gonna just back up into this like curly queue here. Okay, buddy, you gotta start shooting better. There we go. There's some damage. You know? Yeah, it's best I just stand here. For the in case. Alright, then we'll finish him off next turn.
Okay.
When you have a reasonably good early combat situation, it sort of behooves you to take advantage of it. Yep, that is aggression during Cold War. The unspoken begins to hate you. It is a good idea to be worried. Here's the thing. If we could overgrow their city, I mean, it's probably a pretty good city. You know?
Okay.
Just gonna stand here and work this guy. That one turn where he's in the forest, he has so much defense. There you go. We're in pretty good XP for our hero this way, honestly. And grow it. Let's go see if the last village in the region wants to be any more reasonable. Okay, we're working on that alchemist furnace. Obviously, we got to get public library in here. I'm going to stay industry focused for a minute here, so I think we probably want the library first. We are really a little bit behind on science. Oh, weird. They produced a Harmonite army in the water for some reason. Instead of the one, they have one tile where it would make sense. Whatever. Because minor faction armies don't like to leave their region, this guy might just sit here for a while because all of the tiles that lead to land are outside of the region.
That's
I
pretty
guess
funny.
I guess we'll see. You guys want to give me a quest? Okay, no, they're smart enough to move. They would love for us to go to Portobello and burn down the Kazanji village there. They'd give us 15 glass steel. That's something. Will you kill him? I kind of want to flip those Kazanji via quest. We'll just kill him. It's fine. So again, like a big part of the problem they're going to have here is just that there aren't enough turns for them to chase us all the way across the map. Nope. Hey. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Now imagine if I hadn't foolishly lost some of our other early units. Think of how effective this would be. They love to get in the trees. They know what's up. All right, we're gonna schedule an attack here. If the Yucatan couldn't quite get the job done. Oops, that's further forward than you were supposed to run. You fools. Now back up to the appropriate distance. There we go. Actually taking damage. What are they thinking? Alright, plus 25 life on every unit in his army. That's gonna make things a little bit more survivable. So now that we have this village built over, You can see we're getting the basic resource output from it, which is like fine. It's providing us a little bit of vision. And now we have the ability to assimilate the Silix. So the bloom growth is going to give us the ability to sort of like spider out and grab as many little minor faction villages as we want, which is kind of cool, I think.
Yeah.
Sort of a neat thing. All right, we're going to finish the job here. No, we know. The Unspoken hates your fungal bloom. People are always telling me that. All right, same deal, you know. The thing is, I just don't trust the auto-resolver because I don't know that it is smart enough to effectively, like, apply the strategy. And I don't want it to just, like, compare the raw numbers on the units and be like, well, he hits pretty hard. That's my auto-resolver voice.
Yeah, no, I got it.
Okay.
It's weird because I always imagine the auto resolver sounding very old, and that's not what you did.
Okay, we're seeing boarding vessels. That is actually great news. That means there are fortresses out in the ocean over there. And we're totally going to take advantage of that. At some point. All right, going to be a couple of turns till we have access to the Alchemist Furnace. But we can just go ahead and grab our standard thing here. So you can see 22 influence because we have enough fungal blooms out for them to qualify as like a 10th of another city. So we're having to pay 22 instead of the normal 20 for this. That's the thing we're going to have to keep an eye on because, you know, we're not going to have a tremendous amount of, you know, as is the standard. We're not going to have a tremendous amount of influence in the early game. So you got to be careful not to outgrow ourselves. And we're going to come down here and check all this stuff out, but that's really more of a next time kind of concern. Do we want to just start growing? The big challenge with like growing out the burrows is that the first one we build is going to take us down a happiness level immediately. And that does make it kind of hard to want to do that. Let's throw out let's replace our lost military unit real quick. I'm not saying we're going to try to be in a position to push Blue's city early if they slip, but like maybe. It would be kind of cool. Okay, so our fungal blooms are working away. We're not actually gonna play this turn. We're gonna stop here. Okay. Although it is worth noting that we have here. Let's read our quest movement here. So we did that. Now we need to deploy and fully grow 3 Mykaran extractors. So we can grow extractors over any resource, any strategic resource that we've seen anywhere. It doesn't have to be within our territory, obviously, because that would be terrible given how little territory we're allowed to take.
Yeah.
So we are, in fact, I think, just going to put up 3 growths. That's eating into our food output, but given that we've got that husbandry center down, like, our food output's pretty significant already. We're getting the job done. If we manage to get an eclipse before winter, remember that during the eclipse we're allowed to use dust to rush these. Which can be very powerful. But before we do anything else, before we stop, let's take a second here and look at some of our future concerns. So we're hauling ass toward Era 2 fairly quickly here. I think we definitely want to pick up some boat tech. We want to explore the oceans, and this might be the moment to start doing that. But let's also talk about the other units in our default plan. So the unit we can research in the first era is this Gorgon, which counts as a cavalry unit. It dual wields, so you can equip 2 weapons, and it receives, I believe, dual wielders receive only half of the stats on the second weapon, but you do get all of the capacities, which is not a big deal in the early game, but it will mean more once we have access to like fancier weapons that have more abilities. But one thing that it does enable is that, you know, each type of weapon has a capacity that increases damage against specific kinds of enemies. You know, swords cause you to do more damage against infantry, axes cause you to do more damage against ranged or whatever. You can equip an axe and a sword and get both of those damage bonuses fully in addition to the stats. So that's kind of cool. And they have charge like most cavalry units. You know, they do more damage when they're traveling. Yeah, just a sort of like pretty decent punchy cavalry unit. Our second era unit, the Shambler, is more of a heavy infantry, and these guys have this snare capacity that allows them to root enemy units in place, which is pretty handy. Obviously, a good way to keep people off of your Epitanes is just to deny them any movement at all. So that's kind of the base composition of our army, the basic stuff that we have access to. Given that we have Shamblers, I'm not inclined to use Silix, but I'm not inclined to use Harmonite in our army because I think they kind of do the same thing, but worse and at a higher cost. But we might still assimilate the Silix for their assimilation bonus, because a big chunk of strategic resources could be awfully nice. We also have this unique tech up here, this tech that only our faction gets, which allows us to, if we take over an Urkin, we can garrison units inside the Urkin.
Oh.
And since Urkins can do that, you know, tunnel through the earth thing, that allows it to just carry our army from continent to continent very quickly, which can be very powerful. If we can get a hold of an Urkin, it can be a devastating like strike force by itself, which is a cool thing. So hey, Amabel, how you feeling about this so far?
Well, it's gross, but you know, it's
Yeah, I think I goofed it up a little bit early. I was a little too aggressive in one place and probably not aggressive enough over here. We probably should have started taking these earlier. But I do think it was important to lock in good growth in the main city too. I don't know.
no. By gross, I mean like fungus itself is like
absolutely
something that makes my skin crawl, and is like really the idea of it being inside things and growing over things is really.
I'm sorry.
Cool. No, that's okay. I know what I'm signing up for.
Okay.
You know, and
so like a cool thing we could do, and maybe we should start doing this, is to overgrow this ruin and that ruin, and then just use that as a way to like pipeline units directly into Blue's territory, set up an assault, and just keep them flowing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what makes sense when we get down there and figure out what they have going. And in the meantime, we're pushing on our faction quest. We got started a little bit slowly, but like I said, I wanted to establish. So that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. When you come back next time, hopefully this strategy will grow on you. And we'll see you then. Thank you.